If you were doing that just while we were about to start, or if you were going to be doing that nonsense when we started. Hello, Sky. How are
you? Well, I just got a lady's brush here. Just
a lady.
Really, just really combing the lettuce on top. I got some good arugula.
Let me see what you're wearing.
It's a Christmas tuxedo. It says I'm classy, but I still like to party. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing this very vintage Santa because we're having our ugly Christmas sweater party right now. So if you have an ugly Christmas sweater, please put a picture in the comments and we're going to choose a winner at the end of this. So hopefully other people came to party with us.
100% people came to party because our panel is very festive right now. So we're really, really excited.
Happy Christmas week.
Happy Christmas week. I love you sharing the picture of your daughter when you ran into Santa and Mrs. Claus just recently.
We ran into Santa and Mrs. Claus at the, well, it sounds worse. It was a grill and bar. They were there for beers after whatever they were doing. We were there for hamburgers. And she goes, look, Santa needed a drink. And over there was Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. And my daughter, the little feminist she is, she goes, I think that Mrs. Claus is probably the one really doing all the work and he gets all the credit. Can I go tell her that I think she's doing a good job?
Have you? Oh my gosh. You need to see the Saturday Night Live skit about Christmas and the lady of the house doing all the work but getting none of the presents.
Oh, yes. The one with the robe, the one that was just this week.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
My son apologized to me Sunday. He goes, Mom, I'm so sorry. We only wrapped one gift, and I saw this. I thought it was so funny. Listen, we need to know if you are here. Got Mitch Case. It says, my name is Mitch, and he likes to party. Raquel says, my daughter is so cute. I'm raising her right, girl. I'm raising her right. You know what we're going to do tonight, Scott? I'm so excited.
What?
So we found a company called Showtime Limos, and I'm not getting a sponsorship. They have just been amazing to work with. They're a locally owned company. We are actually having a limo come, and my kids are bringing their friends, and I'm bringing a friend, and we're going to go around and look at Christmas lights in a limousine.
Yeah, the gentleman that bought that business was about 6 years ago, and he was a CPA, and he decided to buy a business, and they do a wonderful job. And their drivers don't drink for religious reasons, but they're always very reliable and dependable, and they're a great organization.
Well, I've only worked with them on the phone. We found them on Google, and they have been amazing. So we're really, really excited to go. My son said we're a little bougie, whatever that means. He's very 14. He said a little bougie, but I'm super excited. Jessica Powell says she loves the robe episode. Every mom is filling that robe Saturday Night Live skit.
See, I'm glad we could reference something cultural. Everyone's like, I know what you're talking about.
We're like so pop culture, you and me.
Yeah, well, the best banter is when we talk about Bank of Blue Valley instead of the Showtime limo. But as always, we want to thank our partners, Sean and Felicia. And halfway through all of our shows, Wendy Reynolds asked the best questions, who's the CEO of Bank of Blue Valley. And I think Aaron has a big crush on Wendy and just absolutely adores her. Oh, she's awesome.
Mm-hmm. She's such a she's so awesome. I almost said it. You cannot say bad words on the show, but she is so amazing. So yes, and she was watching last week. We got an email afterwards and she was watching. So
that's really cool.
Today. All right. Well, guess what? We are going to play some non-copywritten music so we don't get in any more trouble. I told you yesterday I had a fundraiser on Facebook and I got the boot with a DJ. So we're going to play some music and you're going to introduce our panel and we're going to get going.
Absolutely. And as a reminder, go a little crazy in the comments. I mean, we're getting around the holidays.
Sweaters.
Yeah, and show us your Christmas sweaters. I mean, it's like we're like Anchorman. Anything you put on the teleprompter or in the chat, we'll probably say.
Even if it's this ridiculous.
Well, Mitch is the man.
We love you, Mitch. Okay, put your Christmas sweaters because we are going to pick a winner at the end for a gift card. All right, I'm going to play the music and you do the intros.
Here we go. Ladies first, Michelle Ryan. Number 2, Makayla Scott. Number 3, Doug Burris. And last but not least, a very special guest from the North Pole, who happens to be a great coworker of mine, Mr. Ken Bramble.
AKA Santa Claus! Thank you guys so much. You know, this song, it's the Mariah Carey karaoke version, but it really just sounds like you definitely need Mariah Carey. Which is funny because today we haven't got there yet, but my voice teacher is on today's episode because I'm trying to make myself the next Mariah Carey Adele. You know,
wow.
kind of a COVID project. So welcome everybody to the show. This is kind of fun because there's a couple of people on here I haven't met and a couple of people you haven't met, Scott. So we're going to have a good time today. So let's start with you, Michelle. Tell us who you are, what you do, and how you got here.
Oh, I was hoping I didn't have to go first, but it's all good. So as long as the expectations and the bar is set low, we'll be good. I got my Christmas lights on, so about as festive as we get here. But I'm Michelle Ryan. I'm a CPA, work for a CPA firm, Adams Brown, here in KC. We are, if Scott's telling the version, we're a 75-year-old firm across Kansas. So we just did a rebrand this year. He always tells me I need to say I'm one of the younger partners, but all the things. And so I came to KC by way of Colby, Kansas. So if anybody has traveled through the Oasis on the plains in Western Kansas, you probably either know that there's palm trees there or there's a Starbucks, and it's a great oasis out there. But started out there, ended up in KC about 3 years ago when our firm acquired a practice here, an existing accounting firm. So firm-wide, we're about 220 employees, 15 office locations. In true COVID fashion, we did a merger acquisition in May in Jonesboro. So we added Arkansas. We got out of the state of Kansas here in May, and really just do a lot of the traditional accounting firm things of tax and accounting and audit, but really pivoting a lot more and growing into our industry and service line niches. And COVID's been interesting and just a lot of good things. And we're just here to help. We're pivoting with our clients, just like everybody is, to find next steps for them, really. So that's me. I'm sure I missed something, but I'll catch it up later once I catch my stride.
Ooh, Aaron, you're on mute.
How did I do? That's because you know what I did? I went to the little soda store today down in the River Market. I just love the soda, and I got the old cherry 7-Ups, and I opened it. But I love supporting this little soda store down in the River Market right now. So if you ever want the most random, they have bacon soda. Anyways, it's my favorite little place. I got this cherry 7-Up just for this. This was going to be my drink today. So, okay, we're going to go in a little bit different direction. We're actually going to shoot over here to Ken. Makayla's having some sound issues. She's getting fixed. So, Ken, now you guys all moved. Actually, let's just go like this. Doug, let's go to you.
Okay.
What do you get here?
You glitched on me there for a second, Aaron. So Doug Burris. My company is DBI2 Consulting. I'm sole proprietor consultant in talent acquisition, and I work primarily with early stage and growth stage software companies. Pretty much any company that is not grown to the size where they need a full-on talent acquisition or HR person yet. And I step in and help them with everything from branding and talent acquisition process to tactical execution and recruiting, and helping sometimes help people make decisions that's not the best fit for them. So pretty much everything in the talent acquisition area, that's what I do. Kind of a hybrid native of Kansas City, divorced parents, but spent a lot of time in Kansas City since I was a tot, went to KU and been here ever since. So I'm kind of neck deep in Kansas City culture.
Rock Chuck Jayhawk, we like to hear that for sure. I don't want to spoil this because I'm sure my daughter's dad loves this show and watches it every day. No, I don't know. We're really good friends, but I had to buy some K-State stuff for the holidays. And that's always kind of a punch in the gut, right? I'm just kidding to all of our K-State watchers. But Scott, do you do this when you buy K-State or Mizzou stuff? Do you make sure that the person checking you out knows it's not for you?
I usually wear white or black if I'm going to Columbia or Manhattan because they're both awesome places to party. But it just depends. Like, if I feel like they're, a KU alum, I don't explain myself. But if they are not, I feel like I have to explain myself. Like, I'm buying this for a friend. So I think that's one of the cool things that we have in Kansas City is that, where did you go to school sometimes means where did you go to college? Because everyone has an affiliation to a local university, which I think is really cool.
I definitely totally explain myself to the person. They probably don't want to know. All right, Santa Claus, who are you? What do you do? And also, we've got a comment already for you down here.
Hello. Ho, 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 ho. I had to get at least one of those in.
I love it.
My name's Ken Bramble. I'm with Hub International. I'm an employee benefits consultant. I ended up in Kansas City after growing up in Baltimore out east and chased a girl to Kansas State and ended up in Kansas City. That's the short version. And she's not my wife. That's normally the next question. My wife's a transplant from Atlanta as well. So anyway, that's kind of how I ended up here as far as the company goes and what I do. I spend a lot of time working with my clients around culture and employee engagement, helping them understand how to make their workplaces a good place for their employees to be. And I just happen to get to leverage 25 years of experience in the employee benefits world to do that. So there's all kinds of stuff on this shelf that we can do, but there's been such a big focus in the last 5 to 10 years and lessening of stigma around mental health and financial wellness. And employees are now looking to their employers for help in those areas, as opposed to keeping them to themselves and looking for other avenues and outlets. So I get to help my clients provide those resources for their employees and keep them engaged and provide a good culture for them.
Ken, you also do a lot of public speaking on mental health. How did that get going? How did you start doing that? How's that response been received?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. That's another whole show. But the short version is my own personal story is such that 10 years ago, I was experiencing anxiety and my first bout with dealing with mental health concerns. And when I did it, no one in my office knew about it. No one around me knew about it. My best friend at home, my wife, didn't know about it for the first few months. And then flash forward 10 years and it's all anybody's talking about, especially with COVID. And I have friends that have gone to their employers looking for help and looking for resources. And so I just kind of recognized and noticed that there's this appetite for it and that stigma has greatly lowered. And so now the conversation is much more available. So that's the very short version of what's happened over the last 10 years from my own personal story to now helping clients with those concerns.
I like it. We're having all sorts of tech stuff today, so hopefully Makayla can hear us now. This is how it goes, especially on holiday week, right? This is how it always goes. So, Makayla, who are you? What do you do? And who's your favorite client? Just kidding.
My goodness. I was like, okay, I wasn't prepared for that question.
Lillian James.
No. That's my voice teacher.
Oh, Aaron Folk.
Yes. My name is Makayla Scott. I am a musician, and I actually wear a lot of other professional hats. I think the phrase that encompasses them all the best would be teaching artist. I am the performing arts director for Bright Lights Institute in Oak Grove. And of course, I have some ownership in my own band, Blue False Indigo. And I also, in 2020, have started to build my own private music lesson studio. So it's very fresh, but because of COVID, it is truly the business of mine that is thriving the most. It's there have been lots of opportunities with that, so I feel that it's growing rather quickly, a little bit quicker than I think I was prepared for, but very exciting. I graduated from Drury University with my Bachelor of Arts in Music in 2017 and moved to Kansas City from Springfield, Missouri, where I was born, raised, and then attended undergrad. Moved to Kansas City in 2017 just as a postgraduate need for a breath of fresh air and to continue my pursuits as a performer and a musician, and truly just to see what would happen if I flew the nest for the first time in my life.
How many instruments do you play, Makayla?
Well, I dabble in several, but the instruments that I'll claim are guitar and piano, ukulele, I suppose, and then voice is what I actually got my degree in, vocal performance.
She's been teaching my kids. Fun fact, she's been teaching my daughter for a couple of years, and then my son for about a year and a half. So during COVID, I said, well, I need a better karaoke voice.
Yes, it's truly a pleasure.
So we can fit it in. And so it's been, and you pivoted fast to virtual, which we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes.
Yes.
One quick question, Makayla, for people that are wanting to do podcasts from the business perspective, I mean, is that something that you would work with business executives on in terms of, Aaron and I always give ourselves a hard time. Wendy Reynolds, the CEO of Bank of Blue Valley, hosted the show one time, and she was phenomenal. And then we realized that as a leader, like Michelle is leading hundreds of people at her company, and you're used to speaking all the time. But for people that aren't used to making sure they're always on point and their voice inflection is on par, do you help with business folks at all? Have you ever ventured into that?
I've never ventured into that, but that's actually really interesting. I talk with Aaron quite a bit in our lessons about how the foundations of singing and the foundations of public speaking are quite similar. So there are lots of things that we work on vocally that then could translate into a setting like this rather easily. Vocal health is something that I definitely think is underrated. We use our voices all the time, and if you're in a position like this where you're needing to speak constantly, speak in a way that is engaging, and be consistent with that, vocal health is definitely something to be considered. So that's a great idea, actually. Something that I may look into in the future.
It's been amazing, like more the the diaphragm stuff, where how you sing, how I've been using that in some of my speaking when I go do video, and it's really making a difference.
Yay, I'm happy to hear
make
that.
a video about it.
Maybe YouTube tutorials is something I should look into as well. I've definitely seen 2020 as a land of virtual opportunity. So maybe breaking into the YouTube market could be a venture for 2021.
I love it. Well, that you pivoted. You could probably get your own talk show too, because you just pivoted us really well. Because we're talking about 2020 next. Thank you, Makayla, for setting that up. And we want to talk about your wins. Like what happened this year. Everything on the media is what a rough year, and I don't want to downplay that it has been a rough year for a lot of people. But we also can find some positives in it. We've been really lucky that all of our guests have been able to find a positive somewhere within that. So Michelle, let's start with you. What's been your win of 2020? Because thank God this year's almost over.
I know, I'm ready for it. So I would say biggest win, gosh, there's been probably a lot, but probably the biggest win, we did actually pivot to standing up some webinars in May when if people are familiar with the PPP funding for the businesses that came through, and just a lot of uncertainty, and kind of overnight we stood up some webinars and some content, which was way outside of our kind of norm. And I mean, 600, 800 people on a webinar. So we knew we had an audience that needed help. And I'm really proud continually, I mean, that we could stand that up, that we could provide resources to all our clients and just kind of pivot with the situation to try and help calm the chaos, I guess, that ensued with all of that, because it was a little chaotic for a while.
I like it. And it sounds like you're about to have another round of that.
Yeah. Yes. We're ignoring that. It's usually like at midnight at Thursday night, they'll push something out that's due Friday, or like perfect timing right before Christmas. Please push out some new legislation that we can help with. So, it's all good. We're going to ignore that until next week, I think. So
I think that is not even, it sounds like it's kind of all over the place, right? So you're probably more prepared after last time, because last time you'd go one day, and I feel like as a business owner, it changed the next day.
It changed every day, and we'd say, okay, we got to do this, and then they change it, and it was crazy. So not looking forward to that, but we'll figure it out and work through it, and all will be well. So,
Michelle, what are the top 3 industries that you do the most work in?
Yeah, so firm-wide, our biggest industries are really agriculture. So being from where we started all in Western Kansas and have really grown east. So a lot of agriculture and energy and oil, construction and manufacturing, I would say, are other big ones. Just professional services, kind of a general, just being in the towns we are. Lawyers, bankers, vet clinics, like a lot of professional services, dentists, different things of that nature. So.
And last question, what's one thing from, I think it's unique that your company does this and not a lot of other people in your field do, but how many people do you do payroll for on a monthly basis?
So right now, I would say we are over 3,000 clients. I'll say it on an annual basis that we touch. Some of those we do only see them once a year. That's not really the core of our business, but about 3,200 payroll clients that we work with on a recurring basis. So it's a few. We're good at getting people paid. People like that.
Well, there's nothing worse than having not a good payroll person. I'll tell you that as the business owner, right? Doug, what are some of the wins that I know you've changed a lot of stuff in 2020. So what are some of the wins for you this year?
Yeah, so professional wins, I'd say there's 2 of them, is taking an entire sales training program completely virtual, completely online, and opening it up nationwide. So middle of the year, I was working only recruiting Kansas City for early career salespeople, training them in Kansas City, et cetera, et cetera. And then COVID hit and we went remote, and we realized, well, if we can do it remote in Kansas City, we can do it everywhere. So we were able to open up our talent channels from coast to coast and implement some amazing sales training programs and graduate people out of it and get them full-time amazing opportunities. So I'd say using the perfect storm of COVID and technology and really going virtual and expanding it that way. 2, then, kind of pivoting my own business away from just the tactical recruiting side of it, but going more into that more holistic, when people aren't hiring, but they know that it's, going to ramp back up in 2021, pivoting more into a different world of, top down branding and process and consulting and helping them build recruiting engines, that kind of thing. So those are 2 big wins. And I'd actually like to pivot a little bit off of what Ken was mentioning about mental health and all that is 3 teenagers, all in school, high school age, and having them thrive and dealing with a lot of stress through high school and virtual and all that stuff of having 3 kids that have stayed very mentally and emotionally strong and actually have thrived in this kind of crazy environment and seeing how transparent they are and all their friends in exposing their emotions and talking through that stuff. So I would say my biggest win is having 3 very happy and healthy and successful high schoolers as well.
One quick question. I geeked out on a LinkedIn post you had, and I was like, whoa, why do you know all these amazing tech companies? And so I'm assuming, the greatest gift you can get from anyone is a referral. So I'm assuming a lot of your business is referral based because of the high quality clients that you work with. but how'd you get all those great clients? I mean, what's the secret? I mean, those are some really cool folks you work with.
I mean, really, look at this. It's all this.
Oh,
right
yeah.
here. No, I think it's, 25 plus years and having a good network and being comfortable with who I am and what I can offer and frankly, being comfortable with what I can't do. And just having genuine relationships and being able to perform and execute and provide a great service and people like that and refer me to other places. So I think the other part too, maybe on that, Scott, is my favorite, and Aaron has heard me say this multiple times, my favorite thing about my job is learning, sitting down with founders and entrepreneurs and learning about their journey and what they're doing and having that, weekly, I wish it was daily, but that weekly kind of epiphany of, very cool. I've never heard of a company doing that before. Tell me more about that. And learning about markets and industries and solutions and that kind of stuff and being genuinely interested in what they're doing. And then the other side, on the candidate side, is investing time emotionally, intellectually with candidates and learning about their journey and bringing those two things together, getting the right talent, the right company for the right talent, all that kind of stuff. So I guess that might be it is I've been blessed to have some success and learn about a lot of people and continue to invest in learning more.
I feel like Doug's kind of like you, Scott, where he's one of those guys that everyone knows him and everyone loves that. They always say, I love that guy.
I don't know if anyone says that about him. I think they're like, yeah, I like having beers with that guy, but I don't know if I'm as respected as Doug is in terms of
there's trust me, there's a lot of those people too.
I
work with people who don't want to drink with me.
Yeah.
How about you, Santa Claus? What's been your biggest win this year, except for that fantastic beard?
Well, thank you. That I would say a couple of things. One, personally, something I referred to earlier, that the conversation around mental health is now more available and people are more open to it. So there's been, as we all know, COVID is awful and people have died and it's very bad, but there's also a lot of positives that have come out of it. And I know we all have a handful of those things of positives that have come out of adjusting and readjusting in this new world. And that's one for me that's a conversation that I had begun pushing a handful of years ago. And now the appetite for it is so much greater. And then the other big win, I think, having come from leading I used to lead our benefits practice a handful of years ago, and having come from that to today and seeing how our teams, our account management teams, reacted to working from home and adjusting with kids in school at home and all of that, I think we were all just blown away by how well they handled it. And yes, it's hard sometimes, and yes, there's challenges, but overall, everyone has just done so well. And when COVID first hit, our chief sales officer said something that stuck with me, and I think probably stuck with a lot of my colleagues, and that was, somebody's going to end up on their feet on the other side of this. It might as well be us. Meaning, let's make sure we come out of this stronger and we figure out a way to invest in the time that we have. And so that's been a big win for our teams and just seeing how they've reacted to it.
Ken, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know Aaron's got another question, but how many friends or new friends of yours decided to sign up with you as a client this year? Is it 10? Is it 12?
It's 12. Yeah.
So it's just, we're very similar business to maybe a Michelle, but that's just a really, really huge year. And I just think it's, Doug, I was saying, Aaron was saying a lot of people know us. People just trust me because I work with Ken. And so I rely on him for everyone to love everything that Ken does for him.
Well, it's hard to trust Santa.
True. Yeah. That's right. Aaron, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. I know you had a question.
No, you're totally fine. It's not really a question. I just wanted to, I feel like I need to say this because I think that mental health is so important to Ken. And we've had a lot of those conversations because I struggle really bad too. And so something amazing happened a couple weeks ago. So Dr. Michelle Robin, who's been a guest on the show, actually said to me, Aaron, they are now offering, and this obviously isn't a commercial for her, but they're offering blood work now. And she said, come in, I want to look at your blood work because I've been doing all the things, the therapy and all the things. And it is insane how much vitamin D plays into that. And then vitamin D is also playing into the COVID cases. And so I would just encourage anyone that is struggling to also look at your blood work, because when I got mine back, she could have told me what I was thinking just based off my blood work. So I've been working on that and just adding vitamin D into my, obviously go get your own, don't do what I'm doing, but the blood work piece, I think just this all of a sudden allowed what Ken was saying, everyone to have this conversation, and even like Dr. Robin to pivot and start offering some of those services as well.
That's great. That's super exciting to hear. The whole sunlight thing is something that's always been important to me. We moved a bunch of offices around in our office, and now mine doesn't have it's just inside. And I'm like, give it away. I'd rather sit in a coffee shop that's all glass on one side, where I can at least get a taste or some sunshine. We have an office in our house in the basement that I won't sit in because there's no windows in it. I'd much rather just camp out in the dining room facing the window. So obviously that I'm like you, Aaron. I don't know that everybody's like that, but you hit on something that's hugely important to me as well, and just what keeps me in a good place.
Not to give Michelle Robin a huge pitch here, but she is one of like the few, if only, people in Kansas City I've ever met that is truly, takes care of everyone just because she's just that amazing. She's the Mother Teresa of Kansas City. So Aaron, what's the price point? I don't know if we want to get into the weeds on it, but I think that's an amazing service to have a consultant. So what do they do the blood work for? Very affordable?
Very affordable. It's very affordable. We had a couple people on our team do it, and very affordable. And I think that it's probably really important. There were a couple other things on there that I'm getting taken care of too that I had no idea that could have really affected me here in the next 5 years. So I'm going to ask Makayla this question real quick, because every time, the way her sound's working, every time we bring somebody in, it doesn't work for 2 or 3 seconds. So Makayla, I'm going to have you start talking so we can bring him in afterwards. But let's talk about your biggest win this year.
Sure. Well, first, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate this question. I feel like 2020 in a lot of ways it was more challenging than something to celebrate for me personally. So it's nice to just take an opportunity to highlight some of the things that I do feel successful about. And most importantly, I would say my biggest win was taking the leap into pursuing music and my own business as a career. Prior to 2020, I was feeling really pulled in that direction, starting to feel ready, but feeling very insecure about all of the responsibilities that would entail. In some ways, I have COVID and 2020 to thank for just allowing me to slow down a little bit and take all of these new pursuits a little bit slower than I think I might have if I really hit the ground running through this year like I had originally planned to. So yeah, I would say that is the biggest win of mine, is just finally having the courage and feeling confident in all of these different mediums to just take the leap and see what happens.
And I don't know if it's Makayla's generation or what, but like shutdown started to happen. Remember how there was like a week where shutdown started to happen? You didn't know if you were supposed to meet people. So she was coming to our house teaching voice lessons, but she didn't even think about it. She was like, going virtual. We're still doing it. Like there was no hesitation. Like she went straight into virtual. So I think you pivoted really, really fast, a lot faster than most people too.
Thank you. It really did feel like means for survival at that point. It felt like things I was not ready to put anything that didn't need to go on hold. And of course, all of the performance opportunities that I had lined up at that point on hold. Bright Lights Institute, we were in the middle of Frozen Junior rehearsals for that. It was put on hold the very first weekend. So that was a moment where my studio was really all I had, and I needed to adapt as quickly as possible. So went through a lot of troubleshooting. I feel like I still am like the most technologically challenged 25-year-old that I know. But I'm always willing to learn. My patience has been tested, and I've grown from that as well. But yes, it was a fast turnaround for me. And I'm really, really thankful for how flexible all of my students and their families were through this time, how patient students were and continue to be with me as I change my entire curriculum and take the most necessary parts and try to adapt that to virtual, because that's something that I think is ever changing as well. Finding new things that maybe work better than some of the other things I was doing before.
Her patience is probably tested because I also signed up, and y'all, I'm not a singer.
I enjoy our lessons so much, more than you know.
I wanted to jump in here on comments. We are still looking for people to post their ugly Christmas sweater pictures, and we have our Wendy Reynolds question coming up, but I wanted to jump in here. There's always a few 30-second delay between us live and us going streaming live. But I did want to say, while we were talking to Doug, John says that you actually may be more connected than Scott. So he puts his money on you.
I don't know. I think Scott's got me as far as connections go, but John, I appreciate the shout out. At some point, Scott and I just need to compare LinkedIn connections, and I'm sure like 4,000 of them are the same people.
Are mutual, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then when we started talking about vitamin D, actually, a lot of people felt that over here in the comments. So Delvon, he's actually a sports therapist. He does sports massages with all the professional athletes, but he agrees with the vitamin D. Raquel over here says the sunshine makes her feel super good, so she understands. And David Komar said, love the vitamin D discussion. His doctor prescribed it for him several years ago based on his annual blood work and new light therapy. So, and we had the lady from Sunlighten on here a few weeks ago. Yeah. So cool. Okay. Well, now we're going to bring on Wendy Reynolds. We love that she comes and joins us every week. She just every week makes time for us, and I just love it. And we're going to ask
outfits and everything.
I know, every single week. So this is our favorite part. She's actually one of my favorite people to work for. And she did this. We did all of these videos in like an hour for like 4 months video. She's so good. No double takes. She was good.
She's not coming on live?
Oh, you thought that still? Sorry. Okay, I'll try to slow down. I'm just kidding. Okay, well, no, we only recorded these videos for the time she can't come live. So just today because it's holiday week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So here we go. We're going to ask the Wendy Reynolds question. And then Michelle, you'll be the first that gets to answer.
What do you feel like is the biggest strength of your company right now?
All right. Well, I think the biggest strength of our company is ability to cut through the chaos and find a next step. So a lot of chaos, a lot of things going on, a lot of white noise at any given time. And we can, I don't know, I just think that we have this ability to see through that and go, okay, yes, it's chaotic. There's a lot of things, but the next step is this, and let's do it. Execute on it. So that's what I'd say has been my biggest strength, our greatest strength, really through a lot of
Doug,
this.
how about you?
Yeah, I think my greatest strength, and I guess company's greatest strength, is the passion for the startup community, and having been there a couple of times, understanding what founders and entrepreneurs are challenged with emotionally, financially, that every hire, every process is so critical to grow a company. And so understanding that experience, understanding those emotions, and just a passion for helping companies grow is probably the greatest strength that I can bring to the table.
How about you, Ken?
I would say the opportunity that we have at Hub to leverage national level resources to middle market level clients. They're not typically used to having those resources available. And we were a great operation sitting in Kansas City with a lot of great relationships. And then we partnered with Hub, and it just brought this whole new level of resources and opportunities to those clients that typically don't have those conversations. So that's been a huge strength for us.
I think one of your strengths too is you guys work together really well. Because I know the first time Ken reached out to me to meet, I was like, I can't. I know Scott, right? And both of you. I mean, I like to think of myself as kind of Italian. Like I'm like majorly loyal to a fault sometimes. And so both of y'all, I said, hey, so Ken reached out to me and Scott was like, schedule a meeting with him. He's awesome. And then same thing when you came in and met you guys. There's not a lot of companies where it's kind of individual like you guys, where you guys all work so well together.
Absolutely. The camaraderie and the support from each other has been really refreshing. Not incredibly surprised by it, but been very happy with the way that it's come together. Yeah.
90% of our competitors, their greatest competition is across the hallway, not actually on the other side of the street. And so a huge issue for companies that are in the insurance broker business is they really fight internally among each other. And as much as I want to give Ken and I credit for being such glamorous, awesome, nice people, our company hub really encourages us financially and through incentives to row the boat together. So each other's successes are our overall successes. And so we're really excited that I think our associates are tracking for a 4 or 5% bonus this year. I don't think we had done a bonus for like 5 or 6 years. And so that's every year. So it's not to make this a PR show on us, but it's just it's not so much that Ken and I are super nice guys. I think we are. I think we got lucky. And I think when I'm talking to Michelle, they're helping a client sell a company right now. And through every merger and acquisition, I know Doug, you'll talk about this in the startup. Even if everything's right on paper, we always hear there's a 50% chance it's not going to end up well. And I think we just got really lucky that it did. So we're derailing it. Okay, sorry, Makayla. We got to ask you
real quick. I want to say one thing because you're bragging, and I'm going to jump on with you real quick. Just one thing I wanted to point out in the bragging category is that when COVID happened, so many people had to react so many ways and lay people off and all of that. We didn't lay off a single employee. We actually did some salary reductions and some contribution reductions. And then a couple of months ago, undid all of those and went back and repaired all of those deductions or reductions. So everybody ended up whole through COVID in our entire organization of 12,000 employees around the world. So that's something I'm hugely proud of. I was very impressed with the way they handled it. And so, yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, that is awesome. And also, you guys get along so well that Scott made my dreams of having Santa on the Christmas show on here. So I really appreciate that. Makayla, how about you?
I'm not sure that this applies to one specific hat of mine, but overall, as a business person, I suppose, I would say my greatest strength throughout all of my different ventures is my personability. When it comes to my studio, I find a lot of value in building strong rapport with my students and with their families. I think it has made the transition into virtual learning a lot smoother. And also because I have established great relationships with my clients, they are more willing to connect me to other clients, which has been a very, very important part of this journey for me as well. On the performance side of things, personability obviously plays heavily into that. I am a songwriter, and I'm constantly sharing personal snippets of my life with my audience, and that is extremely valuable and extremely important to what I do. As a musician, I feel I have a bit of a stronger brand than as a teaching artist, just because I'm in my first year of building that business, but I've been performing with my band Blue False Indigo for 7 years. So as an artist, I am much more established, and that is really a core value of mine whenever I consider the stories I'm telling and how they're going to impact my listeners.
7 years. You're 25 and you've been with your band for 7 years.
Yes, we met our freshman year of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you guys were on tour and then COVID hit, right?
We had just finished up a tour and we're going back out in May. So, right, we just barely missed our opportunity.
Scott, were you ever in a band?
I was in a lot of made up bands when I would go to the bar, and it'd be like 1 o'clock, and it'd be like 1 a.m. right before last call, and you'd be in that band, but nothing official.
No, that's why they make karaoke bars for people like you and me, for the 1 o'clock want to be in a band.
Yeah, no, my wife, she very rarely drinks, but when we go to a karaoke bar, she'll have 3 or 4 drinks, and she'll whip out $100 in cash, and she'll go to the DJ, and she'll be like, "Hey, I'll give you $100 if you let me play Ice Ice Baby." And the DJ will go, "Ma'am, there's no one behind you." And she's like, "Okay, I'll give you 120. Then she's done it twice. She's given the DJ money to get up on stage with no one in line. And so that's my favorite karaoke story about my wife.
Well, I want to encourage anybody that likes doing karaoke, but sometimes questions if they should go up there. Just do some lessons with Makayla. It's changed my. I mean, I'm going karaokeing every day after COVID, and you all are in trouble. We're working on an Adele song right now. Y'all are in trouble. All right, I'm taking Julie with me.
Can I ask some nerdy business questions?
Do all your nerdy business. Take over and start asking questions in the comments. We know it's the holiday show, so you're checking out on us. There's a lot of people watching, no one asking questions. So start asking your questions. We've only got a few minutes left.
Yeah, I think the audience is doing really well. I can't believe that so many people are tuning in on a holiday. So Michelle, what is one thing that you see as a huge upside for your business that maybe you're not paying attention to? Meaning, like, you have your core business, you do really well on payroll, audit, tax, consulting. But I guess out of all your sections of business, what has the highest rate of growth? What could double? What could go up 25%? That's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good question.
The dark horse.
Maybe I should not give this away. Am I giving it away? No, I don't know. No, I'd say the biggest opportunity we're seeing right now is probably coming out of how COVID changed the market, and I'm seeing a divisiveness or a split between like bookkeepers or controllers or CFOs that are really like not as good as maybe they were in normal times. And so it's kind of splitting the pack. And so some didn't pivot, some don't want to pivot because they want to retire. And so it's creating this divide of it's creating a gap in businesses where they need somebody to come in and fill that gap. And I feel that that's really our biggest strength, is that you need the payroll person. Well, I can put a payroll person in your organization on a part-time basis. You need a controller, we can do that. You need a CFO, we can provide you that. And so it's really just that I feel like COVID's creating these gaps in different organizations in their finance department. And we step in and day one can boots on the ground, get started, help them decide, prioritize and decide what are the next steps we take, what's most important to keep you moving forward, and how do we execute on your goals and move you along. So I don't know. That's kind of what I see. I see COVID's creating gaps in different places that we seem to fit. So,
Doug, for you, what do you see as the biggest section of your business that could grow the most next year in 2021?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that in 2 ways. One, I think where I'm probably going to grow the most, at least early in the year, is just turnaround, tactical, headhunting, recruiting. Virtually everybody I'm talking to has been holding off on hiring through the second half of 2020, and they're ramping up really, really fast and putting all the plans in place for hires in Q1, Q2. So I think that's going to be quite busy on that side. Where a little bit of the dark horse is teaching people how to fish. Helping with process, maybe we've got an early career recruiter that is struggling on the IT or the software side, and really more that consultative, helping them get better in their role rather than me, supplanting that role for them, if that makes sense. So I think jumping in on the consulting side and helping with a better process or strengthening the talent acquisition process, strengthening the employment branding. Aaron, I'll be coming to you, that kind of thing. So really on that employment marketing side is where there's probably quite a bit of opportunity on the table.
Ken, I know your biggest opportunity. You're crushing it right now. But I guess what's an area that you're excited to explore, or maybe, what's the biggest opportunity for you? But I guess what gets you the most excited about 2021 from a business perspective?
Yeah, it's thanks for asking that. And that's, the thing I'm most excited about is connecting with people that see the world the way I do. And when I mean the world, I mean their people, and see their people as people, and see ways to really make people happy with what their situation is and where they work. Mitch is on the call right now, and he's got this great organization called More Than a Meal. And I delivered pies from him to each one of my clients today. Just ran all over town and handed them pies from Mitch. And when I handed them to him, I said, this is from a guy named Mitch Case that has this organization called More Than a Meal. So if you have people that are, have a death in the family, dealing with some kind of hardship, work's not their highest priority right now because life is happening, then you can send them these pre-cooked meals and they don't have to worry about cooking dinners. And that's already taken care of. And it's kind of like Blue Apron with a heart, if you will. I mean, and the people that I told that to, that I dropped them off to today, really responded like, where's the website? How do I do this? And the reason that they responded to it is because they're clients of mine, because we see eye to eye on how to work with your employees. And so I think for me in 2021, I'm super excited about meeting more people that see the world the way I see it when it comes to how you treat your employees and how you build a culture within an organization.
I have a quick question real quick, because I'm trying to see if there's more than one of these. I'm trying to get the answer down here too. When you drove all over the city, how did you plan out how you were going to drive over the city to save the best time?
Because I'm just anal enough to figure it out on my own. I just listed them all out. And then I said, I'm starting on the southwest side of the city. And I just did a big fat loop and ran from one to the next.
There's a new app for it that's a free app. I'm trying to get my friend was using it the other day. I'll share it in the comments if it isn't during the show. But I thought I'm not anal like that. So I was like, how did you do it? Did you find out the app?
I love it. Well, it comes from years of when I first got in sales about 100 years ago. There was this thing called the STAR approach, which you didn't want to do. And that was calling on people all over town. And by the end of the day, you basically drew a star across the city. So I'm kind of attuned to not doing that, which made me sit down and take the time to write it out the right way.
All right, awesome. And then I'm going to bring Doug back in. You got to ask.
Yeah, and then leave it to Ken to talk about someone else. My only critique is, and then create a peer group after you have a bunch of like-minded folks that you want to get together. Makayla, for you, I think you've talked about the things that were unexpected and that have gone really well. But what are you most excited about for 2021? What gets you giddy? What gets you just really happy?
I am very excited for the possibility of starting to be more involved with Blue Falls Indigo again. We have taken a lot of time this year to just figure out things, figure out how to survive. Musicians, as you probably know, have gotten hit pretty hard through this year, and everybody's having to adapt. Musicians are having to, I think, learn how to take their performance opportunities, make them virtual, how to spend money to make money, and how to make money if there aren't any opportunities. And we very recently had the opportunity to get back in the studio for the first time all year, and record a couple of songs, collaborate with some artists in this area. And we're very excited to just have a project for the first time in a long time, have something that's really beautiful and realized come into the world, and to put it out there for everyone, to give to give people something in 2021. That's something that I feel that I've really been missing this year on a creative front. So really looking forward to that. That's in January, and that's as far as I'm willing to let myself think, because I just have no idea what to expect. But it's nice to be able to expect and look forward to something, even if it is in the very near future.
I like it. I'm going to jump in here really quick. Angie says she appreciates folks who have musical talent, but if singing ever becomes a consideration for her, get her home. Which I thought was funny. And then to Ken's point, the app is called Circuit. And Angie said that Google also does it for you now too. So you no longer have to do the star method. So we have just a few minutes left. Can I ask a cheesy icebreaker question? I know that's usually your thing, Scott, but it's a holiday show. So I've got it all prepared. Okay. So let's pretend, I have to whisper because I have kids. Let's pretend Santa was real and you could ask for anything. Michelle, we'll start with you. What would you ask to be under your tree on Christmas morning? And know that COVID was gone because Santa's not a doctor.
Maybe a week's vacation wrapped up with a bow. I don't know. That was a week's vacation to a beach somewhere with some drinks.
I love
That's
it.
what I'll take.
What about you, Santa? What would you ask yourself for?
It's probably, I've got two boys that are 20 and 17, and the one is off to college but back home right now, and the 17-year-old is just a 17-year-old and has no time for dad or mom or anything like that. So I would just say, just some, and we'll spend some time after Christmas together, but I would just say chances for the four of us to just be a family and spend time with one another and enjoy each other's company.
I'm living teenager life. It's interesting, right? Doug, what would you ask Santa for?
I'm going to make it easy. I would love back-to-back Super Bowl victories for the Chiefs.
Hey,
What a great answer.
Sports. Oh, look, she's got her Chiefs.
Go, Michelle.
Good job, Michelle. Makayla, what would you ask Santa for?
I would probably ask Santa for a full spa day, pulling out all the stops, a facial, a massage, manicure, pedicure, a nice treat yourself opportunity because Lord knows I deserve it.
Wait. Can I change my answer to Michelle's? I'm going to change my ansser. I'm going to go
To Makayla? Yeah, that's
Makayla's. Sorry, Makayla. Yeah, I'm going to change my
that was
answer.
a really good answer, actually.
I'll take the spa day. Thank you.
What about you, Scott?
So oftentimes when, my good buddies and I are celebrating, we'll go to our local Hy-Vee and pick up corsages for our wives. And we take them to this beautiful restaurant where they grow wine in Tuscany. And they have their pasta from northern Italy. And I'd ask for a gift certificate to Olive Garden because when you're there, they treat you like family. I recently had to talk to the manager because they kept bringing out breadsticks and soup. And I said, "Sir, we can't afford this." And he said it was on the house. I didn't believe him. And then when I got my meal, they then gave us another meal to go. And I said, "Sir, we've already paid." He said, "No, it comes with it." And so, Olive Garden is when you're there, they really treat you like family. Aaron, what would you want for a Christmas present from Santa?
First of all, have you guys been to the Comedy Bar yet? Probably not because it opened during COVID, but they have open mic night on Monday. I want to take you there, Scott, after that little performance.
I'm really not joking. We go to Olive Garden and they have macaroni grill wine. And it's not inexpensive. It's I think it's like $1.99 a glass, and it's good. They top you off.
What does Julie do when you show up with a corsage?
Well, we're wearing tuxedo jerseys because that's all we wear. This is just the Christmas one. What is Santa going to get you, Aaron?
So usually I travel a lot, right? When it's not COVID. And my favorite part of traveling is the hotel room and the bath, because my only bathtub in my house is in my 14-year-old's bathroom. And so it's like a whole job just to take a bath around my house. I mean, we have showers, but I just want a bathtub. I've decided that's it. Just put a bathtub. I don't care where I'll put it. I just need a bathtub that's not in a 14-year-old's bathroom. So that's actually both my Christmas wish and my 2021 goal. So, all right. Well, here's the deal. Nobody gave us a Christmas sweater picture. And so I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. We're going to try again next year, and I'm going to expect more out of our audience. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, the comments were awesome. We had so many amazing guests. The thing that people don't realize, whether it's Angie or David Kumar, and I mean, we could go on, is a lot of executives are here in the commenting box. And so I just feel very honored that a lot of well-known business leaders in town are participating on 2 days away from Christmas. So as much as I think you and I are cool, Aaron, I think it has a lot to do with our panel and their friends, because they're friends with everyone. So I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much to our panel for coming on right before Christmas, like squeezing this in. Thank you so much for dressing like Santa, Ken Bramble. We really appreciate it. I do want to let you know, if you want to connect with Makayla, you're going to have to find her over on Instagram. We haven't gotten her LinkedIn, but we're going to get her on LinkedIn. I'm going to work on that with her. Everyone. What?
She's a young buck. She's hip.
Yeah, I'm good. She can feel it.
Well, I have some news. I did sign up for a LinkedIn.
We're gonna tag her. Everyone else is
You're
already
getting old.
Please be my first followers.
Makayla, I will tag her. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We truly hope you have a happy holiday. We hope that you and your family stay safe. We know it looks different this year, but we truly appreciate you this whole year. And we will see you next week. One more show for the rest of the year. Bye, y'all.